wonder at 22, we heard it all through the weekend. What else? So what else? So now I had done this, and I felt like I could settle here for the rest of my life, and I could be really happy. I love the horse community. They saved my life. They provided an income for me in an industry that I knew well and I loved, and it was going great. But then I discovered triathlon, and I started again to meet the people. And so this is where part of my story has, repetition to it, is that it always was about people to me. I started to meet every one of you. I get to meet every one of you this weekend. I met Sarah in a hallway in France in 2004. I was like, oh, you're registering too. And then she happened to speak English, and we hit it off. I met Hillary probably 12, 15 years ago. I met Julie 9 years ago. I mean, there's so many people in this room that I've met through sport. And I said, I've been in this horse world my whole life since I've been 9 years old. It saved my life. But what else? What else is out there? And the more I was around triathletes, the more I liked myself. I liked getting up early. I liked that they were goal-orientated. I liked that they were positive. I liked that they were healthy. I knew in the back of my mind I always had this tendency, or it was in my genes, that at any moment in the wrong room of people, my life could go south really fast. I was born into an alcoholic home, and I had a lot of destruction very early on. And the only thing that was guiding me was my community. And so I knew, I said, okay, I need to continue to put myself around people that are going to make me a better person. They're going to keep pushing me. And so I started to go to triathlons. And I didn't know how to swim. I rode horses. Who swims? I swam in the irrigation ditch maybe to cool off. That was about it. And so I was like, okay, never ridden a bike. I remember using a bike as transportation sometimes to get out to the farm or to the nearest ring or something like that with the horses. And I certainly didn't do any kind of running, maybe some track and field early on, but nothing that was any significance. And so I thought, I'm going to do triathlon. And again, when I started triathlon, I thought, I saw the professionals and I watched Ironman, and I said, that's what I want to be. Again, I started with the end in mind. I said, I want to be a professional one day. I want to race these people. I had never even swum, let alone I'm going to be a professional. I know how to ride horses. That's it. That's what I do. And so I started triathlon in 1999. And in 2003, I said, I'm going to do an Ironman, but I want to race professionals. I want to be a professional, so that's what I'm going to do. And I never did one single amateur Ironman. And again, all the naysayers, Catherine talked about naysayers, they said, what are you doing? You've never even done an Ironman. I had no business saying I'm going to be a professional triathlete. I had a couple half Ironmans under my belt that just squeaked me good enough to get a pro card. I said, that's good enough. And I knew I wanted to race the best in the world, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that's where I wanted to go, and so I just put myself in the fire. And again, I took that risk. I raced Ironman Canada at the end of 2003, and the second Ironman I did was Ironman Malaysia in 2004, and I won it. So I went from, I have no business doing this, I just hope I can race these women, to all of a sudden I was in this race, and someone said to me, you have an 18-minute lead. And I said, I didn't register. I was like, okay. I don't even know what that means because I didn't register. And 2 miles from the finish, I remember yelling at someone on the side of the road, how far back are they? And they said, you're 2 miles from the finish. You're fine. You're going to win this thing. And I just couldn't believe that was, for taking a risk, that was my reality. So from there, you'll see a theme that it was, I knew what I wanted, but I was also willing to take a lot of risks. And from there, I said, I am going to sell everything. I sold my stable. I sold everything to do with horses. I just went for it. I put everything in a backpack, what fit in my bike box, and I started to live like a gypsy. And my parents, who had watched me build this entire horse empire, went, what are you doing? This is something that you worked your whole life. You're good at it. You're secure. You have a stable. This is where you should be. And that question of what if, I have a saying, I say, I never want to die wondering. And at no point talk to, if you go to anyone in hospice or anything like that and you sit with them, they're never going to talk about what they have. They're going to talk about what they've done. And they're going to talk about the risks that they took and all the things that they didn't do. And so for me, I always said, I never want to die wondering. I want to just take that risk. And I didn't know from there what it was going to turn out to be, what this career was going to look like. Maybe this was a one-time thing. Maybe I just got lucky. Maybe everyone else just, had a really bad day and it just happened to, the cards fell in the right place. So I went on and I had what I felt like was a successful enough career that I felt like I had accomplished and done what I could as a triathlete. And in that, I continued to meet. We talked a little bit through the weekend about your tribes. I met my tribe. All of these women that are here putting on this summit, the speakers that have been here, all of these women who are amazing women, I can call them my best friends. When I'm down in the dumps,